Right. Anyone else on the panel want to share a work smart, not hard, leveraging scaling process? If not, I'm going to jump in on some other tactics that you can work out on. All right. I'm going to share with you some priorities and some systemizations in efficiencies. Being efficient and knowing what is the next step for you, I would say, is one of the most important things. Okay. So we know that time is one of those things that just is not coming back. Once it's gone, it's gone. Once it's done, and you're never getting time back. So how do we get more time back, Ed? How do we systemize this thing called time? Because in order for us to actually truly value our time, one of the things that is really, really helpful is understanding exactly how much time we're spending on a daily basis. Now, for example, like most people aren't conscious of exactly how much time they're spending on social media. Just a heads up, before I get into these, Pete, just a heads up, I'll just call him Pete up. I'm about to go into a share about productivity efficiency, and I just saw you pop into the room, so I wanted to bring you up to the party. Um, Before I go into it, Pete, if you're in the house, if you wanted to share a quick mindset, work smart, not hard. If you guys haven't met Pete, Pete is super empowering. If you're there, if there, oh, and, okay, I'm not sure if he's coming up. All right, I'll just jump into these, no worries. So here's what we're going to do. All right, I'm going to take you through 18 principles of how you can really speed up your time so you can get more back. The first stage is to understand where you're spending your time. Just out of curiosity, I wonder how much time you think you waste on social media. Like, just out of curiosity, how much do you think you spend on social media on a daily basis? Now, of course, we're on Clubhouse right now. The reality is that you're most likely doing something at the same time. I'd hope you are, because that's the beauty of net time, right? We can maximize time by doing multiple things at the same time. So the average is 2 hours daily social media. So when they did the studies, 2 hours on a daily basis. Now sometimes people go, Ed, that's not a lot. What do you think? Do you think that's a lot? I reckon it's quite a lot. So you start to understand it. That's 14 hours a week. All right, that's 14 hours a week, which is also 56 hours a month. Okay, 56 hours a month. That's 672 hours a year. That starts to build up, right? And so therefore, like when you start to look at it in the long term, it's being conscious of how you can bring awareness to where you're spending your time. So 2 hours daily, 14 hours a week, 56 hours a month, 672 hours a year. Wow, that stacks up. Just so you know, that's a whole month every single year. That's 28 days a year with 2 hours of consumption on a daily basis. So the question is, what would you do with 28 days extra a year? Where would you go? Would you be able to build on your business more effectively? Are you someone that says, Ed, I don't have the time? If you're saying you don't have the time, again, it's starting to look at the fact that it's not you don't have the time, it's that you're not effective with your current usage of time, right? And so therefore, okay, that's an average. 2 hours doing anything a day, complaining, blaming, comparing yourself to others, that's a complete waste of your time. So if that's 2 hours a day, that's 28 days a year. That's a whole month again. So start being really conscious about how you're spending your time, where you're spending your time, who you're spending your time with. Okay, 4 hours daily on social media. That's 28 hours a week. That's 112 hours a month. That's 1,340 hours a year. Okay, that's 56 days a year. 56 days a year at the average 4 hours daily. Now, the actual truth of the stat wasn't anywhere near 2 hours daily. It actually wasn't anywhere near 4 hours daily. It was near 6 hours daily of just mindless scrolling on social media. So that's 42 hours a week. That's 160 hours a month. That's 2,006 hours a year. Okay? That's some serious time. Okay? So that
Hey,
actually
well,
works out at 84 days a year. 84 days a year. That's 6 hours daily on social media. So the question is, what are you going to do with 84 days per year? I mean, that's months. I mean, 2.5 months by just eradicating doing something 6 hours a day. And so this is also an interesting stat, guys. All right, and girls. All right, if you're in a job right now and you don't enjoy what you're doing, all right, you're doing 6 hours a day, okay? That's 84 days per year. Hold on, that's 6 hours daily. All right, and of course you're probably working a bit more than that. That's 84 days per year doing something that you hate doing. That's 2.5 months hating doing something a year. I mean, that's a lot of time back. And again, like once your time is spent, it's never coming back. It's your most valuable asset in the world. There's nothing more valuable than your time. People say, Ed, you know, I definitely value my time more than I do my money. Okay. Well then, and yet they'll still spend a lot of time trying to figure something out on their own because they're trying to save a bit of money. There's always incongruencies in that. People, so let me say that again. People consciously know that their time is more valuable than money, yet unconsciously will try to figure out the smallest things to save a little bit of money rather than actually paying for a system. It's only 10% that would actually willing to pay to move further forward. The majority will always be focused on their time to try and figure it out when you can actually just speed up the process. How amazing is that? So let me save some time, rapidly get more done daily, and I'll show you 18 structures that I've used that have really sped my ability up to be more productive. And again, some of these you might be able to do already, some of them you may not. That's all good. Just, you know, like anything, if some of them fits with you, that's great. If not, that's also great too. So chuck it out. Number one is refining during the process. The concept of refining whilst doing it is really important. Why? Most people expect it to be really good and then get it out. That's a massive foolhardy way to do anything. The only way you get good at it is by doing it. It's like expecting, it's kind of like, it's no different than this. It's like kissing your hand, all right, and hoping you get really good at kissing your hand and then get really good at kissing your hand and then kiss someone. The only way you're going to get better at kissing is how? Actually kissing someone. That's no different to business. The only way you're going to get actually good at it is by doing it. And so the concept of refining during the process allows you to forget about perfectionism or this thing called imposter syndrome, which is just a label that allows people to sit in this, oh, I've got imposter syndrome, which is just another excuse to why you're not moving further forward. Look, I'm not judging it. It's just, you know, labels are just these things that people put on themselves to stop themselves moving further forward. As soon as you fully embrace just refining to know that it's okay to be imperfect, and the fact is you are always going to be imperfect. You know, that's the human condition, is fundamentally flawed. And your flaws, the things that you worry about, are the things that people will be most attractive to. And if you're worried about what other people say about your flaws, then you can quite simply point out their flaws within them too, if that's what you want to do. Like, if anyone's going to judge you, they're instantly judging themselves. You know, pointing one finger out is immediately 3 fingers back at themselves. And so therefore, we live in a world where it's so easy to judge other people, when in fact, you know, rather than break people, just build them. And so just embrace that, become someone that walks out. There's always going to be some, you know, like literally left, right, and center people hammer me down on social media. And I love it because I can take it. And you know, like someone was like smashing down on my content yesterday. I went to their page. They've got no content. They've got nothing there. And so you're like, great. and today, actually, I mean, if I get time and if I think it's worth igniting up, because it always, especially off the back of an ad, it really helps you increase the amount of actual reach. So if I've got some time, I'll go in and just stir up the debate because I think it's entertaining. And I think it's also interesting how people can learn from these processes as well, because it's just words at the end of the day. And words don't mean anything unless you choose them to mean. So you can keep refining it over and over again. You may have known someone that did this too. His name's Bill Gates. You may have heard of him. He actually created Microsoft on the go. They sold their first contract from Microsoft without even having the actual processes in place or the systems in place. You may have heard of this other guy. He also did this. He launched his Cybertruck with actually only one Cybertruck that was just a refined, early one, sold 150,000 or whatever copies of it, and the actual truck broke on the demonstration. I don't know if you remember, Elon Musk's demonstration of the Cybertruck was meant to be bulletproof glass and it didn't work. So on the actual sales process around actually selling all these units, the thing didn't do what it was meant to do, and he still sold 150,000 units. So you have to refine during the process. Number two, you have to focus on what's important to you. You have to just keep on focusing. Warren Buffett and Bill Gates interviewed separately, asked what was their key skill, and they said individually, focus. Every business owner must stay focused on their primary income action step. The problem, people think staying focused is all about just saying yes to good ideas. That's not what focus is. All right, focus is actually staying focused means saying no to the hundreds of other good ideas there are. And so here's a way of which you can stay 100% focused. Just literally draw a circle on a page and then put the thing in the circle. If you haven't heard of my background, I was a behavioral therapist for 12 years as a one-to-one therapist. It's a really simple technique. You just draw a circle and then you put the thing that you want to create. You have to actually action it and then write it, and you do it till complete. If you stay 100% focused on that task, unconsciously, your mind works in pictures. And so by drawing a little picture on a piece of paper and actually drawing, like writing, this is the thing I want to complete, focus on that task till it's completed, and you will move further forward. You'll feel self-esteem. If you put, just on a sideline, if you put 100 things into that circle, your brain immediately is going to be diluted. And so the less that is in that circle, the more you focus on getting complete on that circle, the easier it's going to be for you. So number one was refine during the process. Number two, focus on your important key income generating task. Right? And number three is ask yourself, does this action support my goal? Every single entrepreneur, you need a monthly retainer that you need to hit. All right. If it's 10K a month, all right, if that's the case, then we need to work out exactly how many clients or how many products do you need to sell to actually hit that income goal. If you can't work that out, then it's never going to happen. If you want to hit 10K through an online group coaching program, you need 20 clients at 494, or you need 10 clients at 994, or you need one client at 10K, or you need 2 clients at 5K, or you need whatever it is, what sort of product or program you're going to sell. You need to know what your price points are. Otherwise, it's never going to happen. All right. And then every single step of the way, you question, is this action going to put me a step further back? Then stop that action. Is this action going to get me a step closer? Then do that action. At step number 4, you have to adopt the 3 states that stop energy draining. All right. Those are enthusiasm, enjoyment, and acceptance. One of the 3 of the most powerful states that you can live in. If enthusiasm comes from the Greek word entheos, all right, godlike. You can be enjoying anything, regardless if it's difficult or not. You can be in the state of enjoyment. And if a problem occurs, the quicker that you lean into accepting the fact that life is just problems, the quicker you deal with it and the further you move forward. All right, the quicker that drama, complaining, blaming allows you just avoid actually doing something about it. The quicker you accept it is what it is. All right, and there's a lot of research. Those that say it is what it is live in the one of the deepest level of states, which is acceptance. It is what it is. People are going to let you down. People are not going to do the things they say them to do. It's not morbid. It is what it is. Doesn't mean that you judge everyone. It's just accept that people are going through whatever they're going through. And therefore, the quicker you accept it is what it is, the faster you move further forward. Number 5, delete your social media. Have some of that. All right, get 2 separate phones. I have 3, and use time limiters on your phone. So I currently have a phone that has the apps on. I have a coaching call phone where my clients have it, and I have my private family phone, and that's it. So those are 3 separated so that you don't, get drained on social media. You can use those apps and you can have time limiters so that you can check how long you're doing it. You could do 20-minute limits for each social media, like for social media platforms, so that it cuts you out. And you do need that because they're designed to grab all of your attention. All right, and number 6, I'm going to say get up early and do the hardest thing in the morning. It's proven if you can get up early, all right, and get it as you go, handwritten diary. I use a handwritten diary on a daily basis. Okay, I have a morning ritual. So you do, I have 10 minutes of gratitude, focusing on what am I really truly grateful for. If you flood your life with gratitude, I promise you, you're going to be in a really cool space to get it done. I recommend an evening routine where I do a 10-minute reflection and I walk through what I need to do the next day, and then I make sure that I write down what those things are for the next day so I'm clear on that. So number 6, get up early, do the hardest task, and at number 7, go to bed early. All right, if you can, all right, get a sleeping app. There's a sleep cycle app which gives you biofeedback, and you'll start to notice if then you'll get better quality REM sleep. Microfibers, and I use like these nostril things that increase the amount of air that goes into your nose. As you get older in life, I don't know how old you are, what happens around your mouth as it gets lazy and you sleep with your mouth open. When you sleep with your mouth open, your breathing actually starts to get less and less and less and less. And so therefore sometimes it's more often than not that you're getting older, which is if you sleep with your breathing airways, and we're not designed to actually breathe through our mouth. And just a heads up, I am a fully qualified clinical nutritionist, so I put a lot of years into this process. I used to coach in biohacking and stuff like that. So it's not just information that I found online. I've fully tested it myself. And so it's really simple. You can just tape your mouth and you'll get used to sleeping with your mouth, and it'll force oxygen into your second. Amazon. The next step is then start thinking about if you're getting up early and you're going to bed early, all right, noticing some biofeedback, what's the most efficient for you? And sometimes people will say, well, Ed, I'm an evening owl or whatever. Again, you can define these to what works for you. You don't have to stick to all of them, and you can find which one works for yourself. We're talking about productivity as the next one. And number 8, be productive. And there's been a lot of research around 50-minute zones of productivity, which means that you have 5 minutes of breathing. So you do 50 minutes on with a countdown clock. And then when you hit 50 minutes, take 5 minutes off where you walk around and just stop breathing. This is not 5 minutes and then talk to a friend. This is not 5 minutes and watch Netflix. This is not 5 minutes, go and eat some food. This is 50 minutes productivity, get it done. And then you can simplify the whole process. And so therefore, the whole thing is going to be really, really more efficient, and you're going to get more done. In a short period of time, what you'll also notice is that if you do 50 minutes and then, get something done, and then you have a little break and then do 50 minutes, you might be able to go a lot longer. All right, you might be able to do hours on end in time. So it's like a little training structure. At number 9, manage your life. Right? If you've got a problem with your wealth or problem with your health, problem with your relationships, get someone else to sort it out. Get someone else to sort it out. Sorry, 1 second. 1 second. All right. If you've got a problem with your wealth, you've got a problem with your health, problem with your relationship, it's much easier to actually get someone else to sort it out. Pay for your Facebook news feed, okay, and so just eradicate it so that when you go on purely to manage my clients, all right, if you manage your clients and you use a private Facebook group, 6 hours of just mindless scrolling, you save yourself a lot of time. So you can get this thing called a Chrome extension, which is called, hold on, Eradicate Facebook Feed, and it literally is free. And it literally, you can take it on and off, and it literally, I never see any of my friends' posts, and some people say, well, Ed, you never see my posts. That's not what Facebook is about. Facebook is about running your ads and managing your clients. Let's go with sort out your inbox so that you're really clear on what your email inbox is and your attention span within that. I recommend a virtual assistant to do it for you. If not, then just literally create folders so that you have only the emails actually in your inbox are the ones that need to be actioned. So if you're that person that has 900,000 emails in your account with that massive red number on it, delete your email box. Start again, accept that it is what it is, and move on. Because here's what's happening when you look at your brain and you've got thousands of hard wires you to get trained into that. Now, I never actually check expensive. You can have a VA do that for you and you can train them up how to do it. But we put a selective amount of times that they can actually do it. So only check your emails twice a day, all right? Because otherwise, before you know it, you're going to be hardwired to checking your email day in, day out. And number 12, I'm saying avoid meetings if you can. The reason why is that, especially we have a lot of corporate contracts, a lot of companies just want to drain your time. And if they're draining your time, you know, it's like we've had some large corporate contracts. They want a meeting about the meeting about the meeting. And if you're running your own business, can you send someone else or can you do it over Zoom? Obviously, we live in a Zoom culture today. Avoid meetings if you can. And number 13, plan all phone calls. Otherwise, never pick up. Remembering phone calls disrupt your brain flow. You know that schedule, whether you take it or not. Never, like, again, I have a separate phone for family that's emergencies only. And I know this may sound like really, I don't know, sometimes people say, Ed, this sounds like a robot. Like at the end of the day, if you're not clear on your time and you don't have a structure and you don't have a plan, then you'll fit into someone else's plan. So, you know, at the end of the day, as you become more successful, you have to be more efficient. Number 14, clear your desktop and put all items into a folder. If your desktop is blown up and it's got loads of stuff all over it, it overwhelms your brain. An overwhelmed brain can't create a new thought. I say clean your desktop, put it into folders, really simple. Check your emails at number 15 twice a day, all right, or get someone else to do it. Number 16, secure all your passwords with LastPass. It's a free software, and so you literally don't have to worry about what's my passwords. You can just put it in that, and that means also you can share really simply for other people to get access to the things that you need, your bank, all of that stuff, and you don't need to ever share your passwords. Really, really cool, especially if you, in today's world, want to outsource, so you get other people to do it for you. Number 17, organize all your tabs so that you can find websites really easily and put them in. Again, get your VA to do that if you don't want to do it. Number 18, store your written work in a swipe file so that every time you're writing something, whether it's an email, whether it's notes, whether it's journals, whatever it may be, you know, that you're really clear on what that is. And so at some stage, you can also turn that into an online program. For example, the first online program I actually created was just how to retrain your brain so that you could learn anything rapidly. I read a couple of books. All right, I really loved the process. I started practicing these techniques because I was someone that was a bad learner, and I learned these kind of hacks of how to do it. Took a couple of different people's programs online, and then I started to notice there was some quicker, more efficient ways to do it, and that was the program that I ever created. That we did a 6-figure launch from, and off the back of that, you know, I then did a launch program of how I did that launch program. Off the back of that, I wrote a book, and then I did a program of how I did the book. And so these things go into, into each other really, really quickly. And so it comes from actually just point number 18, storing all of the things that you're writing about so that you could potentially create an asset from it. Most people are writing like a blog, and they've been doing it for years, and they don't realize, just put it into a book. Like my first book was just a program, a workshop that I used to do, and I got someone else to transcribe it at the back of the workshop, and then it became an online program. All right, and so therefore you don't need to be like perfect at these things. These things can become much more efficient and effective as you start doing it. Guys, just a heads up, I'm going to do last call to action, and I'm closing down the room for today. I actually broke down the first structure of how I did 100K with an online program. If you want to get access to that, I mean, this is an exact step-by-step guide of exactly what to do day one, all right, exactly what to do day 2 to 5, day 6, and it's a complete breakdown. I've actually incorporated my ad structures. I've incorporated how I did it. All right, and I created a program on the go with information that was in not in a it was in the mindset niche. So it's one of my first mindset programs. We did a six-figure launch off the back of that in less than 30 days. And so I've actually broken down the whole process. If you want to get access to it, it's actually a digital program that I sell online. It's $500. We actually sell it day in, day out. However, I've got an offer. All right, so I'll leave you with a no-brainer offer. If you direct message me, if you click my green profile, go down to my DMs, DM me book. What will happen is you'll get sent a link and you can go to download it. And instead of paying $500, you'll get access to it for $3.94. And so, as I said, I sell this day in, day out. It's a super solid, straight up, sophisticated, clean approach to exactly how to do 100K in less than 30 days. That's how I did it with my online program, so you can copy the same process. There's also got, I included some bonuses in there. For example, like most coaches fail when it comes to webinars or a one-to-many sell because they do too much how-to information. So I'll show you how to use method-based content on a one-to-many. All right, as soon as you do one-to-many, you can speed up the processes. All right, bonus number 2 is exactly how to get amazing results for your clients without being stuck one-to-one. How do you go? Some of my case studies that have used the same process. Someone like Sarah did 28K from her first one-to-many offer. Someone like Stefan did 50K in the relationship space. Sarah was in the healing space. Veronica's in the healing space as well. So she was able to do 4K per week. She was actually interviewed by a massive newspaper in the UK because in the middle of COVID, she was doing 20K away, business. Either way, it's like, wow, so I want you to know that every niche works. Someone like Johnny, who helps people on Amazon do what he does on Amazon, he was able to hit over 1 million. I've got a detailed case study of how he used the process. Bonus number 7, I've actually included a live webinar funnel. If you actually want a website done for you, if you want a funnel done for you that works, you could spend, between, 5K, 10K. So I've included my actual live webinar funnel that I did the 100K with, and that includes confirmation pages, order pages, replay pages, and the 3 objection pages. So you can see how they're structured. Again, if you can find anyone that can give you all of that for less than, for $3.94, I'll eat my arm out in front of you. All you have to do to get access to that, because I will be taking it down, it won't be up forever. So if you do it today, you can get access to it before I close the room. I'll wait for, 10 or 20. If you DM me book, all right, so click my green profile, go down to my DMs and send me a message, book, you can get access to that. Jump in straight away, and so you can start utilizing it. And you can see the structure of my book funnel, which is in of itself is worth that. It's just a one-off payment. There's nothing else. And that being said, guys, I double check. I think.
Ed, I just want to add, that's insane. I mean, 100K launch for that information to be able to access that is that's literally your IP, your intellectual property. And I think for all of you right now who are not doing that, I think you're crazy. I think you're crazy for selling at such a low cost for such a high value product, Ed. I just think some of the things that you are doing right now is really paving the way to a different, I would say, era of entrepreneur. The way you're doing things, the way you handle things, the way those little tips, or 13 little tips that you gave then. I didn't know the one about sleeping with your mouth open. I think that one's pretty awesome. But I just think, if you right now are in the audience and you want to learn how to, work productivity and, in a way that Ed's been able to do it, for literally, for £3 something, that is, you spend more than that on a sandwich, or a coffee. I just think the value of the knowledge of the one thing that Ed can teach you within the year, and I've known Ed for over a decade now. He's been in business since 1996, and I just don't know anybody who in this particular industry of what you do, Ed, to be able to produce so many results in such a short space of time, Um, I mean, a six-figure launch for most people. I mean, for that information, they just if you seriously haven't sent, I can't believe it. I think this is the first time I've heard you offer this. I've never heard you offer this in any of the rooms that I have been running. So, you know, take advantage of that right now. Click on his head, scroll to his Instagram, and click the DM button and message him book, and definitely get that, because I promise you that a lot of the knowledge and the advice that you're getting, this is from someone who's been there and done that. He's not just walking the talk, but he's got the t-shirt, and he's actually done everything and implemented it. So yeah, Ed, I just wanted to add that in there for people who just even have to. I mean, you shouldn't even be thinking about it. You should just go and do it. that would be my recommendation.
Oh, thank you, John. Appreciate you as always, and for the support. Yeah, I mean, it's a no-brainer. People, often ask the same sorts of questions over and over again, and I do a lot of research online, and so when I'm looking to do a killer offer, I look to see how much we can over deliver, and then really go for it. So yeah, it's a super offer. John, just check in the WhatsApp. I'm
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, cool.
So John's going to be taking you through some work smart, not hard, and I'll leave it over to you, John. I'll be back in a little while. Okay.
Awesome, brother. Awesome. I appreciate it. Yeah, I just thought, let's continue the conversation with some of the work smart, not hard tactics. And I've got a process which I think we use as well. You can also write this one down. This one's worked really, really well for me. Grab a pen and a piece of paper and draw a big cross in the middle of it. All right. So let's do this together. So got a piece of paper, and I'm imagining now I'm drawing a cross. But draw a big cross, and you'll have 4 quadrants to that cross. Okay. Now, at the top, you're going to write urgent, and at the bottom, you're going to write not urgent. Okay, so at the top, so imagine you got a piece of paper, a big cross, but it's got 4 quadrants. Okay, and because I think if we do this real time, you'll understand what I mean, and you'll understand how things work. So at the top, urgent, at the bottom, not urgent. All right, so urgent, not urgent. On the left, I want you to write important, and on the right, I want you to write not important. Right, so top urgent, bottom not urgent, left important, right not important. So the reason why I'm getting you to sort of do this exercise is because a lot of people, as they do this exercise, are not really focusing on what the end outcomes are for things. So if you think about some of the things that you've done today, right? So as Ed mentioned, the moment you start checking the emails, that's a big mistake, because what happens is you start to fall into other people's agenda. It's like, give me a call, do this, and can you reply to this? And basically you go into reaction mode, and when you're in reaction, guess what happens? You're not productive, because you're doing things for the people, you're not doing things for yourself. So the moment you start to, every task that you do, you need to write down as well on a piece of paper. So everything that you want to do today, just write it all down, right? So today it's going to be like, okay, I'm going to make this phone call, I've got to have this meeting, I've got to, do this social media post, I've got to do this live, I'll be on Clubhouse and da 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 da. So you're going to write it all down, and then you're going to put it into one of these quadrants, either in the top left, bottom left, top right, bottom right, either in one of these sort of 4 categories. Now, what you'll find is sometimes you're going to put things into what we call important but not urgent, and urgent and not important, or not important, not urgent. But the moment you start putting yourself into these sort of categories, you'll find. So as you start putting yourself into these categories, what you'll find is that ability to really focus on what you need to do next. And I think the biggest issue is, and there was a little exercise that was done in this as well. Let's say, for example, right now you switch from one task to another task to another task. So let's say you go from a meeting to an email to a social media post, right? These are 3 different actions and 3 different mindsets. So your mind has to go through a mind transition for a task. So there was a little exercise they did where they had all these kids doing, like 1 + 1, 2 + 6, 7 + 8, 8 + 10, 10 + 2. So they had all these, plus, and then they had the minuses, like 5 - 2, 2 - 1, 1 - 8. So they timed each kid to see how long they could do it. And then the third exercise, they actually had the 1 plus 2, 2 minus 6, 6 minus 2, 1 plus 8. Anytime they mixed the plus and the minus, and then you added a division in there, so a divide, it would take 4 or 5 times as long to do the multiplications. So it's the same with our minds. When we move from one task to another task, our mind is constantly switching to see which one is producing the best result, and also flow state. This is really, really important. You want to be more productive, you want to work more smart, you got to be in that process where you are into that flow state. And flow state allows you to get more done faster. So these are some of the tips that I wanted to add top of what Ed had. But I know we've just got Keontae that's just joined as well. We've got Dean, we've got Nikki, Kermit, Jenny, Nichelle, Will, Jess, and Samantha, Rob, and I know Ed just had to pop out for a second. I would love to ask all of you on stage right now. I know Keontae, you've just joined, and you're probably flying your plane.
Actually, I landed last night. How you
You
doing
learned it
today, my
last
brother?
night. I love it, brother. So, would love to ask you, what are some of the things that you're doing right now to work smart, not hard?
I think the most important thing that I try to do is, and I say this respectfully, is let the money work for me. Um, there are a lot of ways to make money, but excuse me, and as you make money, you have to save some, which I save most, and so that you can get more. So for me, when opportunities arise for little small projects, I usually do them, especially if I think they can make some money. And specifically, projects where I don't have to do anything, they just need a little help. I help out, I take my cut, then I'm out. Um, a lot of times, there are so many different people who need help. You know what I mean? Who need funding. I'm not like VC level yet or angel investor, but I look out and the money comes back. I want to illustrate. I have a friend who wanted to start a business, and I think I told y'all about this. And he was a little short, and I would help him out. And now I get a piece of the pie every month. Every single month, I get a piece of the pie. Um, you have to look outside of yourself and really try new things. That's what I've been doing too. I've been really just trying as many new things as possible. Also, I have been taking advantage of Clubhouse just in terms of my coaching and consultations. And I've really been just promoting myself indirectly in that format. And then I've been having people literally contact me and booking hours. So another way to work smart and not hard is Clubhouse. My bio, I have very simple mentions of, you know, the services I provide. And you'd be surprised just how many people contact me because they are not effectively marketing their businesses and they need strategies. And in the past, I hadn't really done much consultant work, honestly, up until I got on Clubhouse and saw how many people needed help marketing their business. Um, Guys, the best way to make anything happen is to recognize that there is a need. When you recognize that there is a need, you capitalize off of it. And as you grow and you make more money and you proceed down the road of success, you'll recognize so many opportunities that you'll see in the yonder. And it's up to you to use your resources to help those businesses grow. Because one of the smartest ways to work and not work hard is to invest in someone else's help because you gave them the help that they need. This is Cayente, Captain Young Money, and I'm landing my plane.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, I just think I think it was really smart what you did with your friend as well to receive something every single month from that. And that's working smart, because you put the effort in once, you get paid over and over again. Brother Gary Henderson in the house as well. He's working, and he's working very. We're talking about working smart, not hard. And I would love to learn from you, because you've done some amazing things. You've, grown some amazing brands. You work with people like Jeff Walker, Lewis Howes, Gary Bernstein. You've done some, big sort of projects. You've had your own companies as well. You have now grown your coin to like the number 5 or 6 in the world right now. With a value of, I think you was telling me yesterday, about 1.3 million in the crypto wallet. I'm a proud Gary coin holder as well. And I just love the things that you're doing, and you are definitely, I remember you telling me the audio hack with the roadcaster that was working freaking amazingly smart. I mean, you're just a genius. I just love the way you innovate, and I'd love to know some of the ways that you're currently working smart and not hard right now.
Yeah, John, well, thanks for having me this morning, and good to see you, Rob, and Ed, and Samantha, and Jason. For me, working smart, it's actually really hard right now. I'm working smart, but it's a lot of hard work today. It's a lot of brand building, a lot of seed building, a lot of relationship capital being invested right now, a lot of energy that's very active that only I can do. Only I can build certain relationships. Only I can show up on an audio, like a live audio platform. Only I can do those things. The smart part of it, though, is I do have a cryptocurrency behind me. I have a book coming out. I have a lot of leveraged assets in the future that, when they land, it will make things a little bit easier. Not necessarily substantially easier, but for me, working smart and not hard, leveraging and scaling is all about growing your name recognition, growing your brand, growing your demand. The more you have people who want to hear what you have to say, the more you have people that want to pay you, the more you have people that want to show up, it's just the more money you can charge. You don't have many assets. You produce one asset. The work it takes one course is so substantial money. I just made $200,000. And then you go try to make another course and try to sell that same or another course to another 100 people. But what I do that's a little different is I just keep the same course, and I just go find another 100 people to buy the same course, and another 100 people, and another 100 people, and another 100 people. So the smart part for me is I don't keep creating. I just keep growing the brand and growing the assets, so the audience has something to come into. So many times we think that we have to keep creating new things, and we only have to keep creating new things for our old audience. But the problem with that is our audience is evolving every single day. We have new people that are meeting us right now, new people that are hearing my voice right now, that have never, ever, ever heard Gary Henderson speak. And when they hear that, they'll peak up. So the content that I produced 3 weeks ago that's already old to one member of my audience is brand new to someone else. So that's the biggest smart marketing business strategy I can remind everyone of is all those archives you have, all that content you have, all that stuff you've produced for years and years and years is still very, very, very valuable to someone, especially someone that's coming new into your world or your ecosystem today. So thanks for letting me share, John.
I love that. So I think it's smart that you got a cryptocurrency behind you as well. That is definitely working smart. I mean, right now you look at how the sort of creator economy is growing, and I just think some of the things that you're doing, or maybe not doing. I mean, what are you doing personally then to get the workflow?
Personally for workflow, for me, it's easy. I have the easiest workflow that I've ever had in a business. I grow an audience, and I onboard into Discord. And once you get into, because there's so many benefits in reward. So it's, or I go on a master class, or I speak live at like wherever I speak club and join the community. And people go to Gary.club, they'll put their email address in. Step 2, they'll join our Discord. And when they do that, they're just part of something right away. We have people waiting in Discord to say, hey, welcome to the community. We have people waiting to answer your questions. I'm in there hanging out all day. And then there's opportunities for people to jump on board. So it's not a sales process. It's not saying like, hey, go buy this, go buy this, go buy this. It's like, if you want to come to the thing that I'm doing on the 10th of July, you'll just have a Gary coin. And if you don't want to come, you won't have one. And that's okay. So it's been the easiest marketing I've done, because the more I come to Clubhouse and serve, or the more I do a podcast, or Like I'll go do something good in the eyes of my audience. I'll release a piece of content or something, and all of a sudden everybody will go buy more Gary coin, because it's almost like they're like, oh wow, Gary's doing something good. We want to support more. We want to raise our support level. It's just a natural ascension. John, I see you. You're a huge supporter of mine. I think you're the 11th largest coin holder that I have. So a huge supporter of mine. But I get messages from you all the time, and it's like, hey man, I just grabbed some more Gary coin, and it's been the oddest thing. I've never seen it. There's not very many people that have a cryptocurrency, but I've never seen a community rally around something as close knit like this and feel like they're part of something as they do with the cryptocurrency world.
I love that. Well, I mean, the reason why I do is I know that anything that you sort of put your mind to, you're always like full on, and I just know that you as a person is not someone who just sits there and does things that you pick. So, and besides that, you're a good friend, and we've been having quite a lot of conversations on Clubhouse and off Clubhouse, and you came speak at my event. You had to wake up at like 4 a.m. in the morning as well, 3 a.m. I think, to do that. So, it's the least I can do, brother, and I'll always be supporting. So, yeah, it's just amazing. Thanks for chiming in today.
Thank you.
We got Emily that's just joined as well. Emily, we're talking about work smart, not hard. It's not a versus room today. A little bit of a different one. We're carrying on from Rob's room, so we'll have definitely a different conversation today. We've also got Rachel, Sue, Hannah, Lena, Pete, Madeline, Art Jedi, Rochelle has just joined as well. So we definitely want to get your insights on how do you work smart, not hard, either in your business or in your personal life, to get more flow, get more productivity. So, Emily, you've created some successful businesses. You are obviously very productive in the things that you do. You seem to be doing a lot of things. So, how are you working smart, not hard right now?
I love this, John. And, from a business standpoint, a lot of our different companies share a lot of resources. And that has been so incredibly helpful. So some of our employees will overlap. We cross promote. We utilize the already established areas to grow the other companies. So I found this to be incredibly helpful and really, really cost effective as well. And then something else that I do on the personal side that really saves me time is I stretch my content for social media. So I know Gary says create unique content for every social media platform that you're on. I like to take my content and stretch it across as many platforms as I can, but just tweak it. So content creation for a lot of us, myself included, takes a long time. So if I can create, a podcast and then cut that up and use that on Instagram, use it on my YouTube, use it as a reel on TikTok, whatever it might be, a post on LinkedIn, then beautiful. And so I try to always do that and really stretch my content across every platform that I'm on. A lot of my audiences are different. So my LinkedIn, it's not huge there. I have 30,000 something on there, but it's people that mainly aren't on other platforms like Instagram or Twitter. So I find that it works really well, and it's a huge time saver for me.
Love that. Thank you so much. So are you using any other things to save time? Are you using any softwares to help you? Are you using any apps? Like what processes are you using right now?
Yes, I love that. So I use Unum for my social media, UNUM. There's a free version and then you can upgrade. So I'll sit down and I'll plan out all my content for my social media, and then I'll put it in there. I'll create the captions and save it in there, because throughout the week when we're super busy and we've got all these things going on, then you have it all lined up. You know what you're posting. You can just get it out there. Bam, bam, bam. So I post it onto my Instagram and automatically goes onto my Twitter, automatically goes onto my Facebook. Then I just save that, put it onto Pinterest, put it onto LinkedIn. And I love Unum for that, because you can also see how everything looks together on your Instagram as a whole. So when people are landing on your page, does it look visually appealing from the get-go? Are they going to want to follow you? So I love that app. And it's one of the ones that I've used for a really long time. I also love Canva for creating simple graphics. If you're having trouble coming up with content, going on there, they've really come a long way, and they make it super easy for anybody to really be a designer. So especially if you're working with a limited budget, Canva is great.
Yeah, Canva is just amazing for, like scheduling a lot of posts and creating presentations. And you can even record a presentation on there. Amazing show. We'll definitely give that as well. And thanks for sharing. By the way, if you're getting a lot of amazing advice from all these amazing speakers on stage, do make sure you are following the speakers on the stage. This room has been created by Rob Moore. In the top left hand corner, you'll see them under the Entrepreneur Startup and Scale Up Business. Above my head, you'll see a little greenhouse. Click that little greenhouse and make sure that you are following Rob's club as well. Rob's got one of the biggest clubs here for business and entrepreneurship, so make sure that you are following the club as well. To be in the house, we've got Rachel, Hannah, Lenny, Pete, Madeleine, Hannah, would you like to say? I can see you flashing your mic.
I was
Hannah,
just saying hi.
Oh, brilliant. Well, hey, seeing as though you flash your mic and you're speaking, we're talking about work smart, not hard. What are some of the things that you're doing, Hannah, to work smarter and not harder?
I think that you have to work hard in order to work smart. So in the beginning, I got a text yesterday from someone that I coach. I do group coaching, and she was asking me about taking out a business loan so she can build out her team right away. And I said in the beginning, like, for me, it was a lot of grinding. It was a lot of working on I own a marketing agency. It was a lot of building it out, at night and on the weekends while I was working another job to save up. And I think that there's this expectation that it's just, of course you want to work smart from the beginning, but there's some hard work required in the beginning. You have to build your business. You have to know the ins and outs so that when you do start building out your processes and hiring and automating and streamlining, it's as effective as possible. And I think that people sometimes skip that step just because they want a quick fix or that instant gratification. But the beginning's more hard work. And then you can kind of pull back and delegate like crazy and get things automated. But it's an interesting topic because I've been thinking about it the past 2 days. So I hope that made sense. Obviously, I can dive deeper into anything, but that's my 2 cents.
Thanks, Hannah. I appreciate you, and you always come with some always great content, and and it's great that you're doing a lot of coaching as well, because when you're doing the coaching, it's not work smart, not hard. That when you coach that person, they've got some great results as well. They're going to go out and shout about what the stuff that you do, and they'll come back, and therefore your marketing is now working smart, not hard. So that's great.
Yeah, well, that's a perfect example of working smart. I mean, now I'm all about work smart, not hard, and I've always been. I just think that sometimes people, especially in this day and age, they want, the 7-8 figure business immediately. And it isn't immediate, even if it seems that way on the surface. All of us who appeared to get success quickly, there was a lot happening behind the scenes. But absolutely, I mean, doing an excellent job, word of mouth, making exceptions and going the extra mile because it's a lot more cost effective to keep a client than get a new one. Perfect example of working smart, not hard. Delegating out, hiring for your weaknesses so you can focus on your strengths, hiring to increase your scope of work so that you can build the scope of work of your business. That's working smart, not hard. Putting processes in place, blocking your time. Blocking your time is huge. I always talk about minimizing your to-do list. I think that people really shoot themselves in the foot by creating these massive to-do lists and doing 10 things for 15 minutes and never getting in the flow state. So those are just, a couple of things that I do. I hope that was helpful. I'm all about working smart, not hard, working the system.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. It just will not happen overnight. It's kind of like, I mean, it's taken me taking a company public and do an IPO. So time of nurturing as well. So no, Hannah, that was amazing. Thanks so much for sharing. We've got Sue B in the house. Hey, Sue B, how's it going? Is Sue B there?
Hey, it's going really good. Hi, guys. Yeah, I have my room at 9, but I'd love to contribute and share that. Sorry about the background crappy music at CVS. One of the things that I had to let go of to work smarter, which was actually kind of hard for me because I love posting on Instagram and creating. And, we recently hired a social team and engagement team, and we have standard operating procedures around all of this. So it's always in alignment with my values and the way that I show up. But I needed to let go of posting, and we batch produce our stories now. And it's really freed up my time. And with that has come more opportunity for me to get on the right calls and take care of the right opportunities to scale the business. And I think that that's really important, identifying where you can scale and how you can scale. So just to let everyone know, we use Trello boards like a boss. And on those boards, we have the graphics, we have the Google Drive, we have the description, we have the hashtags, we have the alt text ready to go to optimize every single post that we do on Instagram. And we are like a well-oiled machine now, but it took a while to get here. And for me to let it all go, I have so much more time to do the other things that really matter as you're scaling and scaling again. So I just wanted to share that and those techniques that we've used to scale. Back to you, and thank you.
It's so amazing what you say. Like, you got all these things like Trello and Monday and all these platforms. Honestly, if you're not using these platforms right now, that can really help you organize your thoughts. I mean, something that Ed was saying before, that a simple strategy that you can do is to draw a circle on a piece of paper and just write one thing in there that needs to get done. And therapeutically, he was saying that our mind operates in pictures, and we see things in pictures. And what will start to happen is, if you start putting more and more and more and more and more things into that circle, you start getting overwhelmed. And it's so true. And things like the things that are around you as well, that your desktop is messy, your bedroom is messy, the house is messy. Like, all those things add on to your decision fatigue. That's why for me, I always wear the same clothes. It's the same t-shirts all the time. My 10 or 15 pound t-shirts that I wear, because I wake up in the morning, I don't think about what to wear. I just go, I'll just grab that and I'll grab that, and that's it. I don't have to waste
Not the
any
same
decision
underwear,
time.
though, right, John? Not the same underwear.
Well, I mean, see, here's the thing. I find something that fits, I'll buy like 20 pairs of it, so they look exactly the same.
Okay. Just checking.
I love it. That's a great share, CB. Thank you so much. We got Rachel in the house as well. Rachel, thank you so much for joining us today. We're talking about work smart, not hard. Do you have a strategy for our audience that can really help support them work smarter?
Hi, John. Great to be here. Good to see you. I think there's two things that I do that I think really do make a huge difference. One took me forever to really get on board with, which is outsourcing everything that, even if I could do it, I solopreneur for a good 10 years. And I felt very capable of doing so many things, but it necessarily wasn't, it wasn't needing to be in my wheelhouse. So really figuring out, where is my zone of genius? What should I be doing? And letting go of the control of everything else, which I think is also an issue for a lot of us entrepreneurs. We have often type A personalities, and it's hard to...
Our mind operates in pictures, and we see things in pictures. And what will start to happen is, if you start putting more and more and more and more and more things into that circle, you start getting overwhelmed. And it's so true. And things like the things that are around you as well, that your desktop is messy, your bedroom is messy, the house is messy. Like, all those things add on to your decision fatigue. That's why for me, I always wear the same clothes. It's the same t-shirts all the time. My 10 or 15 pound t-shirts that I wear, because I wake up in the morning, I don't think about what to wear. I just go, I'll just grab that and I'll grab that, and that's it. I don't have to waste
Not
any
the same underwear,
time.
though, right, John? Not the same underwear.
Well, I mean, see, here's the thing. I find something that fits, I'll buy like 20 pairs of it, so they look exactly the same.
Okay. Just checking.
I love it. That's a great share, CB. Thank you so much. We got Rachel in the house as well. Rachel, thank you so much for joining us today. We're talking about work smart, not hard. Do you have a strategy for our audience that can really help support them work smarter?
Hi, John. Great to be here. Good to see you. I think there's two things that I do that I think really do make a huge difference. One took me forever to really get on board with, which is outsourcing everything that, even if I could do it, I solopreneur for a good 10 years. And I felt very capable of doing so many things, but it necessarily wasn't, it wasn't needing to be in my wheelhouse. So really figuring out, where is my zone of genius? What should I be doing? And letting go of the control of everything else, which I think is also an issue for a lot of us entrepreneurs. We have often type A personalities, and it's hard to say, I'm going to give up the control over this. So just bringing on a team that actually makes sense and really can do the things that you don't need to be doing, probably better than you, because that's what they do. And I'm a big fan of hire slow, fire fast, and not being afraid of making sure that it is the right team, and it might take a minute to figure that out. And then the one other thing that I do that I think is necessary for my mental state as well is really recognizing when I'm in certain flows. Like, I think I definitely have moments where I'm the most creative. And so I really embrace those moments and really try to think big and, kind of look at things from that 30,000 foot view. And then I have moments where I'm a full-time hustler. And then I try to just really pay attention to when I'm naturally feeling those ways and embracing it. And when I get to a point, which I think a lot of us do get to, where you're just ready to lose it and you're burnt out, I stop. So really figuring out where that rest point is, because if you're not giving your body a chance to reset, just like, you go to the gym, you can't work out that hard every day without giving your muscles a chance to reset. And that's actually how they get stronger, is because you give them a chance to breathe. Well, I think our businesses and our brains work the same way, where if we push, we're going to push ourselves too far, and then we're not actually helpful for anything. So those are the things that I kind of embrace. And it took me a while, but that's where I am now. So thanks for letting me share, John.
And you make a really good point about the gym as well. Like, what I find is whenever I work with, but actually that hard work that you put in the run, it just really, I don't know if anyone else of you feel this, but every time I go for a run or workout, my rest of the day is really productive. Every time I don't, I just feel like, it's still kind of productive, but it's like you have to work harder. It's like you're out of sync, out of flow, out of frequency. So yeah, I completely get that. We got Bobby in the house. Hey, brother, how's it going?
What's going on, buddy? Now I know I'm going to throw out all my clothes and just get the same shirt in many different colors.
There you go. A good little hack. So, brother, we're talking about working smart, not hard, and you've been in the film industry for many over 2 decades now, right? You've created some amazing films, features. You starred in a few shows yourself. How do you manage all this stuff? And what's your way of working smart in your particular industry?
Okay, I've been thinking about this. It's always provocative questions here, in a good way. Okay, so what do I think? I think that, especially in my industry, I'm sure it applies to other industries as well, people are really obsessed with status. One thing that's really interesting about the film and television industry is it's not sustainable necessarily in terms of the ecosystem. Like, the ecosystem is constantly changing. So, the film industry is interesting because there's always people at the top and there's always people on the perceived bottom, but it's perpetually in a state of transition and flux. But what happens is that people who are newer to the industry, when they're at the top, will kind of look down at everybody else, right? So this is where you get these stereotypes that are very true, where you can't look certain people in the eyes. You're not allowed to talk to certain people because they're important. But, it's a cliche, but it is very, very true in the film and television industry. Today, they're a production assistant. They're sort of at the bottom of the totem pole, and then tomorrow they're a CEO. It happens very, very quickly in my industry. So one thing I would say, which maybe sounds a bit odd, but a way to work smarter and not harder is to be nice to everybody and to understand that everybody has equal value. Resumes change, skills change, but over time, and this is something I do, right? It's, like even with you, John, I mean, you're high status on the app and in life, and I'm joking around talking about your underwear, right? Because it's like, we're just two buddies, like having a good time. So I treat everybody the same, because you don't know where people are going to end up. And to be honest, the people who are your champions now, if you treat them with respect, they're going to champion you for the rest of your career. And I have found that over and over. And the amount of publicity I've been able to generate is because I treat people with respect.
You're right. You never know. I mean, it's the bosses who they've got in to run it, and you just never know. that, yeah, I mean, we're joking around with buddies, and I can't wait till we can fly, because I'll definitely, UK Mouse School, and fly over to US, and we'll definitely chill and hang out. But sometimes I think about, when it comes to creating those relationships as well, this is also a smart move as well, because there's a saying that says you only need one relationship and one deal to be able to make your life pretty comfortable. I'll give you an example. When I first started in real estate, I met a guy called Vincent Wong. He's actually the author of a book called Property Entrepreneur. And this guy had access to all of the property deals. So I'm like, okay, well, if I can partner with him, I might be able to do some great deals. And so I did. And I did a keynote. He was sitting in the audience, and we were in the green room, and we were talking about real estate. And I said, hey, I was wondering if we could do some sort of collaboration together. So what do you mean? I said, well, look, I would say I'm pretty good at negotiating the deals. And, it seems like you've got all the deals. And how about we do some kind of joint venture where you give me the deals, I'll negotiate it, and you just take a percentage of how much I sell it for. A tip base of 1%. That was the best meeting I ever had. It didn't happen straight away, though. It took about at least 2 or 3 months to kind of even get sort of, those deals. But, we were networking on the forums, at the live events, and, kind of touching base, doing a little test to see if it worked. And eventually now we became business partners, and now we've taken a company public and did an IPO. So that is a smart move. You're working smart, not hard. And I think, all of you on the stage, you're great networkers. You know a lot of people. And I think combined with all the people, I can tell you, just being on this platform, I got an opportunity to invest in a tech company that the CEO yesterday just announced that it's going to be valued at 20 billion. And I managed to get in on that. So, all because I built some relationships here in Clubhouse. And it was insane. So it was an opportunity. I took it, and it worked out. It's high risk, but high reward. So it's important. It's really to show that can help shortcut a lot of those processes. So that's thanks so much for sharing, brother. All right, we've got Pete. Pete, you haven't shared yet, have you? Is Pete there? Have you shared? I don't think you've shared. Or Dana?
Hey, John, can I tap in one more time?
Yeah, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Hey, thanks so much, man. Here's another tip. This is a way that I've been making money. Working smarter, not harder. And I'm actually, only reason why I'm sharing this with you is because I'm phasing out of this at the end of the month, at the end of June. So I'll give you guys a little insight into my life. One of the biggest ways that I make money is through referrals. I got to be honest with y'all. I don't work hard at all. I haven't worked hard, and I want to say 10 years, right? I have a plethora of relationships with people who have different businesses. And what I do is I not only help to market it, but I charge a little fee for any business that I bring in. And that has been working amazing for me, because sometimes I'll have 3 or 4 things taking place during the course of the day, and literally all I did was set it up. I did absolutely positively no work. All I did was set it up. And I have, because I have another business that we have maybe 500 customers in a one zip code area. So what that creates is a unique opportunity. I have 500 people that I can market to, 500, and that's been like really invaluable. So again, guys, the referral program, if you can create a database of various different businesses, and then develop a relationship where if you bring in business, you take 25% and or they add on 25%, it should work out pretty well. This is Kayente, Captain Young Money. I'm landing my plane. Thanks, John.
That's a great one. That's a great example of a strategic alliance. I mean, I do that a lot, actually. And we're not added on. The way I negotiate, I'll say, hey, I've got 5 million followers on social media. All of them are entrepreneurs, most of them, or business owners, or people interested in business. Do you have any services that could serve my audience? And so what I'll do, I'll test the products out first. And what I'll do is I'll just have a system where, I'll refer the things to them. And I'm upfront. I say, by the way, this is my affiliate. You can use it if you find this service. If not, you can type it in manually. But what we'll do is I'll negotiate an exclusive offer for me. This is something that myself and some uses it as well. In fact, I think most of you on the stage actually do use the software. So it was Gary who introduced me to Larry Kim. I'm very thankful for that introduction. Again, another example of the relationship category we were talking about. So deals for softwares like that. But I just think when we come to working smart, you're talking about earning income from doing this. I'll give you one really good strategy. This was a big aha moment for me, and I could not understand. It took me so long to figure this out. I was in Singapore and I was speaking on stage. I told this story before, but I'll tell you again. I met a guy who's worth 300, and we were in Singapore, but he's from Hong Kong. And I said, what do you look for when you are trying to market a business or grow a business? He said, John, I look for companies that have ARR. So what's ARR? It says annual recurring revenue. I said, why is that important? He said, well, John, if you're earning £1 million this year and you want to make 2 million, you have to work twice as hard. I said, right. And if you want to work 4 million, you have to work 4 times as hard. I said, okay. And if you were 8 million, I said, okay, I get it, but what's your point? I said, the point is most businesses are working very, very hard for income. Meaning, if you want to make money, you have to go out and find a client and sell them. And that process is so tiring, trying to convince people of your products and your services. So do you not think it's better to just be able to sell one thing and get paid over and over and over again? I said, well, sure. And he said, that's why I'm worth 350 million. I said, huh. And he said, I'll tell you something else. And this is before we took our company public. He said that when a company creates ARR, annual recurring revenue, is worth typically 10 times the value or is worth a lot more than a traditional business. I said, why is that? He says, because the income is predictable. I said, wow. So let's say January 31st. Sorry, December 31st, your company makes $1 million on recurring every month. By the time it hits January 31st, 1 year, 1 month after, 30 days after, bang, another $1 million comes in. Right? And then the month after that, bang, another $1 million comes in. And so the key here is that anything you add on top of that, it just basically expedites, or it creates that exponential growth. So if you draw a curve that's flat, and as it goes on, it gets steeper and steeper until you get this vertical line. So a horizontal line, you draw it, and then it becomes a vertical line. That's called exponential growth. And that's why companies like Facebook are worth billions, because they've already got annual recurring revenue coming in from ads. And then more and more people join. It's just more and more money they're making. And so as I start to think about this, I thought, and that's one of the reasons why I started JL.club. Mainly because of the fact that I don't, I have a lot of people, offering, saying, oh, John, can you mentor and coach me? And I say, well, I don't really offer mentoring or coaching anymore.